Well, hello and welcome to the Brian Hornback Experience. This is episode 79. 79. We are now just finished up. I guess today will be day 8 of early vote in Knox County and in Tennessee for those counties and municipalities that are participating in primary elections. So this is day 8 of 15 days of early voting. And turnout's started out really slow on the first couple of days. Now, granted, the first couple of days, it started on the Wednesday before Easter, and so there was expectation that maybe Good Friday and the Saturday before Easter was going to be big. It wasn't. I voted on the Saturday before Easter. My wife and I were, I think, 2 of 131 people, I think, that voted at the most popular early voting center in Knox County on that particular day. So anyway, it has started to pick up. There's several things on the ballot that, I've gone over in previous experiences, previous podcast, and told you about all the races that are on the ballot. Really and truthfully, though, the only one that a lot of people are paying attention to is the sheriff's race. You have Sheriff Jimmy J.J. Jones and you have Sheriff Tom Spangler, who are both running for the same position for the next 4 years. And so if you go to brianhornback.com, you'll see that I've linked to the Hal Hill podcast. Haller and Hilton Hill, a local talk show host here in Knoxville, had both candidates on. Had Jones on a Tuesday, had Spangler in on a Thursday. I've linked to both of those interviews so you can contrast and compare the two candidates. And so that is really the one race that's garnered a lot of the attention, and it's simply because of the morale within the department and things that are kind of going on. We've had from a sheriff's. Golly, I just try to pick something up off my desk, and anyway, from a sheriff's department perspective, we've had a couple of incidences that have not been favorable. On Tuesday, this is being recorded on a Thursday. 2 days ago, a young man, 16 years old, was laid to rest, who died from a traffic accident in which he was driving a truck that had a stolen license plate on it. The sheriff's department deputy began a pursuit. Obviously, a 16-year-old kid decided to get away. The pursuit ended within just a few minutes of an accident, a one-car accident of the truck. And it killed both the driver and the passenger. Both of those were 16-year-old juveniles from Powell High School. So that is one issue that's come up. That's not come out in the campaign. Really, just the fact that over the last 3 years there's been a constant turnover of folks leaving the department. More than 500 people have left the department in the last 3 years, which is really kind of not been the norm for Knox County Sheriff's Office. Typically, people go to work for the Sheriff's Department and they stay there. They don't necessarily leave. And yes, the pay is not great in Knox County, but we don't see that kind of turnover at Blount County, at Loudoun County, at Anderson County. You don't see where half of your workforce has left within the last 3 years. So there's something going on there. Again, can it all be attributed to one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people? I don't know. I'm not in that department. All I know is what I see, the attack by Commissioner Jay a year and a half ago on the Merit Council that has continued to be going on even today. At the next commission meeting, they will discuss the Merit Council again. There's a couple of appointments coming up on the Merit Council. There's litigation where the sheriff has sued the Merit Board, and so that litigation is in Chancery Court. Just a lot of multipliers that have gone into that particular race. The trustees race has gotten a little attention. You have Justin Biggs, who's been an at-large county commissioner for the last 3.5, almost 4 years, who's been in that office for 16 years, who's running for that position. Ed Schaus, the current trustee, is term limited. He's not unopposed. He's term limited, so he can't run again. And so Justin's running for that position. A gentleman who moved here in 2018 to be president of Duraline, which is an international company that's headquartered in Turkey Creek. He came here in 2018 to work for Duraline, and he stayed at Duraline about a year, based on his LinkedIn and through an interview that I did with him a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, he left Duraline. I directly asked him what he does for a living, and he said this and that. So that's kind of interesting, because the trustee, if you don't know, is a position where that office takes in all the property tax that's paid to Knox County. It is the county's banker. And so there's very, very important to have someone that knows the operation, that's been there, that knows what they're doing, because heaven forbid, when you're dealing with all the money in Knox County, you don't want something to go wrong. That's how we pay for our officers. That's how we pay for our school teachers. That's how we pay for everything. That's how we pay. It's that money that's brought in that pays for the asphalt, to repave the streets, to buy the stop signs, all that stuff. So it's important. It's an important position. A couple of judge positions. General Sessions Division 2. There's a contested election there in the Republican primary between Judd Davis and Sharon Frankenberg. Really, judges can't say that this judge would rule wrong in this way or that way. They just go out and they campaign based on their background, their family, those types of issues, and ask for the vote. Now, in the other judge position that has a Republican primary is the Chancellor Division 2. Chancellor Eddie Pridemore, who defeated a Democrat incumbent 8 years ago, served for 8 years. He's been on the bench for 8 years. That's Chancellor Clarence Eddie Pridemore. He's being challenged by a Knoxville, a long-serving Knoxville attorney named Dino Cole, and also the former county commissioner, former law director, and now candidate for Chancery Court, Bud Armstrong. Interesting race. A three-way race is always intriguing because it's not clearly a 50-50 deal. Jury's still kind of out on where that shakes out. If Pridemore has some negatives, so would Bud Armstrong have some negatives from his time as the law director and as county commissioner. So anyway, I'm not 100% sure where Dino Cole lives, but I know that Armstrong's from up east. Pridemore lives out west. So I'm not sure if that will factor into it at all. But it'll be an interesting one to watch for sure. So, that's kind of on the Democrat side. The only thing they've got going on is they've got a three-way primary for county mayor between Bob Fisher, Tyler Givens, and Debbie Helsley. And so that will be interesting. The breakdown, let me pull it up here. The breakdown on the actual votes, the early votes. Okay, not anything here, but so far, 7,745 people have voted early in 7 days. And there's been 903 absentee ballots cast for a grand total of 8,648 total votes that have been cast in the last 7 days. Of those 8,648 votes, 6,875 of them are Republican, and 1,773 are Democrat. Again, the early vote centers, there's 10 of them. Downtown West is still running at number 1 with the most highly trafficked early votes. Farragut runs there, sometimes in number 2, sometimes in number 3. New Harvest Park out in the northeast area of the county. Downtown West is kind of center west. Farragut is deep west. New Harvest Park is out northeast. And then Halls is further north county. And then Carnes is kind of northwest county. The Expo Center comes in, it's kind of in the center right there at Merchants Road and Clinton Highway. South Knoxville is out at Meridian Baptist Church, the City County Building. Carter out in the East Knox County area, that's where Bud Armstrong comes from. And then Eternal Life Harvest in East Knoxville. That's kind of where that's where they ranked 1 through 10 by number of early votes cast on day 7, which was on April 20th, also known as 420. So that's kind of where we're at on early vote. Some things that you've probably heard about is actions by the Tennessee Republican State Executive Committee, which I am a member of. I am the State Executive Committee man for District 6. That is the state Senate district served by State Senator Becky Duncan Massey. So what happens is when individuals go out and they get a petition and they get 25 people to sign the petition to go on the ballot, they turn that in as a Republican. And then once the filing deadline passes, there's a couple of days. The filing deadline is typically on a Thursday at noon. By Saturday at noon is the deadline if some people want to challenge someone being on the Republican ballot. And there's some criteria that you have to have done. The main criteria that people are focusing on is the 3 out of 4. So, in other words, in order to be a bona fide Republican, you need to have voted in 3 out of 4 state or federal Republican primaries. Local primaries don't matter because in counties like Roane County, they haven't historically had Republican primaries, at least local ones, okay? So the only Republican primaries that matter are the state and federal ones. So you need, in order to be a Republican, you need to have voted in 3 out of 4. If for some reason you have not voted in 3 out of 4, then there's some things that you could do, like give money, spend time, have someone have the local party vouch that, hey, she is a bona fide Republican. But it takes 2 people who are in fact bona fide Republicans. That's somebody who's voted in 3 out of 4 state or federal local primaries to then challenge that person. That person's name then comes off the ballot. They're then given an opportunity to make their case, to get their vouchers from their local party, to prove that their voting record was wrong. And we actually, the state party actually had a situation in Shelby County where a candidate was able to get the local election commission to admit that they erred in someone's vote record. But anyway, There's over 2,700 candidates running right now in the May primary. But what's going on right now that you're hearing a lot about is in preparation of the August 4th primary. The state congressional district that has been served, is still being served today by Democrat Representative Jim Cooper, has been redistricted, and there's a bunch of Republicans that want to run for that seat. There were 4 Republicans that were challenged. One of those individuals withdrew from consideration, withdrew his candidacy. The other 3 went to the state executive committee. Now, in a congressional district like that, they take all the state executive committee members. There's 2 in every district, and it's up to those people to determine if the candidate should be restored to the ballot or not restored to the ballot. And so there were, I believe, 16 state executive committee members that are now in the new 5th congressional district, and they voted, and it's been reported that it was 13-3. Anyway, 13-3. So that's 16. Yeah, that's 16. Anyway, it was reported that it was 13-3 to remove Ortegas and Starbuck, or I'm sorry, not remove them, but to not restore them to the ballot. And then on Baxter Lee, who is originally from like the Knoxville area, it was a vote of like 11-5. To not restore Baxter Lee. So 3 candidates were taken off of the congressional ballot in District 5. There are other challenges from across the state. As far as in my state Senate district, I had to participate in a call about 2 Republicans that were running or wanting to run for governor. And so that happened last night. Those 2 candidates were not restored to the ballot. But again, you can. I know State Chairman Scott Golden has been overwhelmed with response from not only media in Tennessee but media across the country. But that is the role, that is the rules to be a candidate, and I am running for election to the state executive committee on August the 4th, and we made another we made another change in December to the bonafide requirements, and we will continue to tweak that, and that's one reason that I am seeking the position again, is to ensure that we eventually get this policy right. So anyway, things are well with the Tennessee Republican Party. Again, I think once people understand it, from what I understand, I haven't talked to Ortegas, I haven't talked to Baxter Lee, I haven't talked to Robbie Starbuck, but from what I understand, they understand what the process was. Probably not happy about it, but it is what it is, and we'll continue as a state executive committee to work on it and get it where it is where it's as best as it can be. So anyway, that's my commitment. But okay, so that's where we're at there. So I want to encourage everybody to continue to cast your early votes if you haven't locally, because that's all you can vote on right now is locally at the primary level. Early vote is going on through April 28th, and then election day is on May the 3rd. May 3rd is from 8 to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And early voting has some mixed times, 10 to 5 typically, Monday through Friday, 11 to 6 on Saturday, closed on Sunday. Some polling places like Carnes and South, I think, are closed on Saturday. So you need to go to the knoxvotes.org website to find that information. Anyway, I do appreciate you listening to the Brian Hornback Experience. And we'll have some more candidates on. I'm going to get them scheduled here shortly, and we'll get some more candidates on to introduce them, let them speak to you, and solicit your votes. But anyway, again, thank you for listening. Check out brianhornback.com. I'm on 5 or 6, most all the podcast streams with this, also on YouTube. So like, subscribe, get the notifications, and thank you for listening to the Brian Hornback Experience, and y'all have a great day. Wow.